evening and welcome to Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air, and bring you information about your library and your community. And this evening my guest is Eric Shangraw, who is the marketing manager with PDC. Hi Eric.
Hi, nice to be here.
Well, you wanted to come and I wanted you to come because we need to talk about yard waste. The snow may finally be gone.
Right.
Maybe.
We hope, at least by the time this program airs, we hope it's out of here. But yeah, at the beginning of the month, beginning of April, PDC started picking up yard waste again for the city of Peoria. It's something we do every year from the beginning of April till the end of November. And it's a weekly service provided to every resident as part of the garbage service that we provide the city of Peoria. Of course, we pick up the trash once a week, we pick up the recycling once a month, and the yard waste once a week during the season that we pick it up. And of course, we want folks to know that there are some rules that we'd like them to follow in terms of setting out their yard waste. That's important because, especially in terms of the weight limits, you know, our guys can easily get injured when they pick up things that are a lot heavier than they're supposed to be. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that and the fact that, you know, years ago, people just put their yard waste in with their trash, in with the recycling. It was all put in together.
Yeah.
And of course, recycling is a volunteer effort where you can pull your recycling materials, your glass, your newspaper, plastics, out of the trash and put them in a separate bin, and we grab those once a month. But landscape waste, it's actually illegal to put in with the trash. Years back, the state of Illinois passed a law that made it illegal to put landscape waste in landfills. And that's simply because landfills, although they're very large, still have a finite amount of space. And it's more environmentally friendly to do something productive with that landscape waste than to just bury it in the ground. Right. And so that's why we do what we do today.
Didn't it create, going into a little bit of science here too, didn't putting the landscape waste in the landfills also create sometimes some chemical reactions with heat and
that already happens with landfills anyway, because there's a lot of food waste that goes in them, and that's part of the biodegradable process that we see in landfills over time. But more than anything, that was an unnecessary way to throw away landscape waste. There's so much more that you can do with it. When we pick up your landscape waste, we put it in a garbage truck, and some people get bent out of shape because it's a garbage truck, but really that's just how we haul everything. We'll pick up your garbage in our garbage truck, take it to a landfill, dump it, and then come back. And we may use that truck then to go get recycling material. And then people see that same truck and get a little concerned. But in fact, you know, it really all looks the same, but it is different material. And so the recycled material is picked up, and we take that to Midwest Fiber. They're a large processor. They have a big plant that sorts all the recycled material in Normal. We take it to their satellite office in Mossville on the north end of Peoria, and then they haul it over to Normal, and they separate the paper, the plastics, and then actually take that material and sell it on the commodities market. And we want people to recycle, because the more we recycle, the less stuff we have to take to a landfill. And of course, that's a fee for us to put it in the landfill.
Yeah.
The yard waste material we take to LHF. It's a facility out in rural Peoria County. And they take it all and they run it through a grinder. And all the material, the trees, the leaves, it's all turned into a mulch. And that mulch is allowed to biodegrade a little bit. And then it's sold to contractors and used in land applications all over the state.
Wow.
And so it does have a useful purpose. And at LHF, you'll see large rows of material, and it's basically being composted just like you and I would maybe compost in our backyard. Well, this is composting on the level of a couple of football fields, so it's
amazing.
It's a big thing. Yes.
Yeah, that would be fun to have you come sometime to the library and do a story time for some of our like middle school or even the little kids, and actually show pictures of how all that works and what happens to all these things that come in our house and leave our house. Because, of course, when I was growing up, it all just went in the garbage can, or you burned your yard waste. Why can't we burn anymore? Why can't you just go out to the curb like my dad did and burn by the sewer?
Right, yeah, there's local ordinances, local laws that forbid you from burning in the city or other incorporated areas. And a lot of those are air quality issues that people have. In the town of Beardstown right now, another community not far from here, they're inundated with yard waste because the EPA has stopped them from allowing to burn because their burn pile was in the city and they don't have a permit to take it out somewhere away from home, so they're wondering what to do with that. And again, many communities are used to burning it, but there are other applications that, and there is a cost that comes with that. The PDC does pay to LHF to take this material and use it properly. You know, the biggest concern or thing we like to talk about with residents is the proper way to set out yard waste.
Right, and I think we have some photos.
Yeah, we have some photos. Before we go to the photos, I want to show you the handy dandy Z card.
Wow.
That is available. It's like a xylophone, but these are available at our offices and at Public Works and City Hall. And it has in here some of the basics about how to set out your trash and your recycling. And there's a big piece on yard waste collection and how we want you to set it out. But basically, we want it in a container that's well marked with a landscape waste or yard waste sticker. And those stickers are available at the library and Public Works and the fire stations, City Hall, and any PDC location. But if you don't want to go take the time to get a sticker, please make one so it's well marked. Because if it's in a can, you know, we want our drivers to be able to easily see it as they're driving by.
Right.
Because if it's not well marked, they're going to assume it's trash. So number one, please mark it well. And then if you're using grass clippings, or you can put that in your can, or we want you to use a craft paper bag. That's a name brand for it, but a brown paper bag that's biodegradable. And that bag can run through these grinding machines that they have at LHF.
It'll work. It's compatible with that process.
But we need you to keep it separated, because trash or metal or recycling material, that can't run through those machines that grind all this material up and turn it into a compost. So we need it separated and well marked, and then properly contained. If you're trimming a tree, some small branches or brush or bushes, we're asking that you bind it together and make it no more than 4 or 5 feet in length and less than 50 pounds per unit, so our guy doesn't get hurt. If it's in a paper bag, we only want those bags to weigh a maximum of 30 pounds. And we ask people to be conscious of the weather the night after or the night before we come pick up the landscape waste. Because if you put a 30-pound bag of grass clippings out in a paper bag and then it gets rained on for 7 hours, that 30-pound bag now weighs about 90 pounds.
Right.
One, our guy's not going to pick it up, and two, if he does pick it up, it's going to blow, it's going to break open and blow all over, and it's not his responsibility. You know, as a company, we tell them it's not your responsibility to pick up the mess. They need to put it out there so it's confirmed, so they can either put a tarp over it if it's raining and then pull that tarp away before we come get it, or keep it in the garage or a covered area until they put it out. And we also want folks to have it out by 6 a.m. Our guys do start early in the morning, and when the summer rolls around and it gets into those really hot days in July and August, the city in the past has given us the chance to start our guys even earlier to keep them out of the afternoon heat. So in the middle of the summer, when we're in the middle of the heat waves, we want you to have that stuff out by 5 a.m. 6 a.m. most of the other time, but that way it's there when we come by. We sometimes don't come at the same time each week. And that's because we may not have finished a route the day before because they've worked till dark, and then they're going to pick that route up the next morning, finish Monday's route if it's Tuesday, and then start on Tuesday. So they may be a little later in the day. So, when in doubt.
It happens with holidays too.
Yeah, right. Holidays, we're a day late on all things that we do. The Memorial Day holiday will be coming up. That's on a Monday, of course.
Right.
And so Monday customers will be serviced on Tuesday. Tuesday customers on Wednesday, and follow that through the end of the week. So Friday customers will actually be putting out their trash and yard waste on that Saturday. So everything's
nobody
delayed.
gets a holiday.
No, they don't. Our guys get a day off, but they're still going to work 5 days.
Right.
For the rest of the week.
And somebody's going to be working Saturday.
Right. They're going to be working on Saturday to service those.
Yeah.
Those
Well, the
Friday
libraries
customers.
are closed. It's a good chance for me to put in there that we're closed for the entire weekend, all the locations for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which people aren't used to that because we're open all the week, usually all the other weekends. So, how do people find out the schedule? You just moved here or something, you have to ask the neighbor, when do they come pick this up, or is there a place to find out?
The easiest way is to go to our website, pdcarea.com, and put in your zip code in our website, and that will pull up the page that is pertaining to Peoria. And it'll show you a whole calendar for the year of when your recycling will be picked up and when we'll be coming by for for yard waste. And yard waste is on the same day as the trash setup.
Okay.
I know we have some pictures here. Let's kind of go through these, and I guess we want to talk about what we see that's right and what we see that's wrong.
Yes.
This first picture that we're looking at, this person has a what looks like a 35-gallon cart, a smaller cart for their trash, which is nice. They have it moved to the side a little bit, and then they have 3 containers, their own garbage cans that they have yard waste in. And we can see one of those stickers, but we'd like it if each container has a sticker that faces the street. So again, the driver sees that, because if there were lids on those containers, he might not note that there is yard waste in there. So we want it, again, push the fact that we want it to be as obvious as can be that there's yard waste in there, because our driver, again, is not allowed, thinking that's trash, to take that and put it in with the trash. Right. So that person has done a good job. We'll give them a B+.
Need
right.
that
Oh,
button.
I got the wrong button. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we got for the next photo? And of course, yard waste has been very heavy here at the beginning of April, because we've had a couple of warm weekends and people have really worked hard to clean up their yards. This person has grabbed a couple of craft bags. And again, that's the brand name. They're paper landscape waste bags.
Where do people buy those?
Menards, Ace Hardware, Nina's, they're all going to have them.
Do grocery stores have them, or just hardware stores?
You're asking me questions beyond my expertise. Maybe
I'll bet grocery stores have them.
Grocery stores have them too.
Grocery stores have them.
And I think you get a handful of them for about $2 or $3. But again, those are biodegradable. They're used in the mulching process. And then the driver would take those other 2 cans that are marked yard waste and simply dump them in and roll on from there. So
well, that might be a good solution for when you go do that big cleanup or do a lot of trimming or something. You don't have enough room in your can. You can go grab those and make life easy for everybody.
These are a previous carrier's carts, which is okay, and they're well marked with landscape waste. And so, as opposed to the bags, this homeowner has just simply taken their yard waste material, put it in the can, and brought it out to the curb. And they're setting it out properly. Another important point is that we want that bar that you see there facing the street, so that the driver literally can go up and just pull that up against the truck, and we have an automatic arm that'll flip that into the back. And that's really what our drivers like the most, because it requires the least amount of effort. And I say that in a nice way, because when these guys are picking up trash, they're picking up on average 20,000 pounds of garbage a day when they're doing it by hand. 10 tons. That's why they're all built like Adonis.
Yes.
But it's hard on their body. It's hard on their shoulders and their backs and their knees. And so going to these carts for landscape waste and trash and recycling has really made a difference in the quality of life that they have on the job. And so we encourage people really to go with these carts and the automated tipping that is allowed, so that the guy doesn't have to pick up anything. He's just really rolling that cart back and forth.
Yeah, I think that's, if people can put themselves in the mindset of not just what do I have to do to make it easy for me, if they can remember how many people and how many stops they have to make, maybe be a little kinder to those folks that are doing that job and make it easy for them.
This person we're going to give a D-, maybe even an F. Yeah, because they have put their landscape waste right by the mailbox. That's a huge no-no. And the main reason is that the postman gets really angry at the homeowner and at us for not telling them. But the mailman still has to do his job. We're working together out there in the streets, and they want a clear path to the mailbox. And at the same time, when our guy comes up and picks up these bags, we don't want him leaning over and bonking his head in the mailbox, against the mailbox. And when he replaces that trash cart after he empties it, his natural instinct is going to put it back right where he got it. Well, again, that makes it difficult for the postman to pull up. So we'd like you to keep that 10 or 15 feet away from the mailbox, either one side of it or the other, but definitely not right underneath it. Because that's going to put the mail carrier and the garbage man in an awkward position. And we would just rather avoid that. So we'd rather kind of went there a little more between. You see the driveway at the top of the screen and the mailbox. Maybe over in there a little bit would have been a better place for that person, and they would get a better grade. This person we believe is a cart hoarder. which is again a no-no. You're issued one cart from the city of Peoria for trash, and you can use it for landscape waste if you want, as long as it's well marked. And you can purchase or rent other carts from us. We rent them. These look like 95-gallon carts. We rent them for $250 a month, or you can buy them outright for $65.
Okay.
And you can kind of see there are serial numbers on those carts, and each serial number is assigned to a specific address. So a driver or one of our supervisors could show up there, and if those are all from different homes, we're allowed to take those and give them back.
Does this actually happen?
No, all the time. Yeah, and
garbage cart theft.
And what happens is somebody takes 4 from his neighbors, and then we're instructed to issue 4 new carts to 4 other people. And so, really, it's in a sense stealing from a service from your neighbor, and it's costing us double then to provide the carts that we need to provide. So we're really
and it's just because they don't want to rent them.
Or they just feel like, well, that doesn't look like it's being used. I'll take it to my house and get better use out of it.
So they may just not know.
Right, and they may those may disappear, because we will take those back if those carts are not assigned to your address. But this person looks like they have out a lot of trash, and then I see they have at least one, that smaller 30-gallon gray garbage can has a landscape waste sticker on it. But I don't see one on the other one, and the driver's not necessarily going to empty that one if it's not marked. And then when the garbage guy goes to empty the garbage cans, he may open it up and see landscape waste, and he's not going to empty it either. So again, they need to be well marked so that the driver can see them from the street.
Is there a lot of problems with that happening over and over, and then those cans just never get off the street?
No, typically somebody learns about it once, and then they give us a phone call, and we have a customer service person that explains the rules to them.
Help them understand.
And most times, the problem is resolved. Now, I'm not going to say there aren't some out there that we have repeated issues with, but we'll keep that to ourselves and not point fingers. Here's one of our guys emptying some landscape waste in the truck. Again, it's a garbage truck, and that sometimes people are concerned about, but this truck, I can assure you, is going to go to LHF. We want to dump it somewhere else. We don't want to take it to the landfill. 1, it's legal, and 2, we'd have to pay money to dump it at the landfill. So we're going to take it to a processor to turn that all into mulch. But again, he's lifting that by hand, and of course that causes some strain on the back. So again, I always like to push these carts when we can.
So this mulch, if somebody goes to their local hardware store and buys mulch, is it possible that mulch came from here?
No, only because we know that the fellow we're taking it to, Paul Rosenbaum, who's a county board member, coincidentally, he sells it to commercial contractors. Okay. There are other operations that turn it into a mulch that's
sold for homes.
But I don't believe, and I'm probably speaking beyond what I really know, but I don't believe that's what he's doing.
At the very edge of your knowledge.
Yeah. Again, that's all getting compacted in there, and those trucks hold 11 yards of material. I think so. When we drop 11 loads in a day, or was it 7? Jeff, what is it? I'm asking my guy off camera. 25 yards worth of material. So if he drops 11 loads, that's 270 yards of landscape waste. Here's a City of Peoria cart that's typically used for trash, but the person has a yard waste only sticker on it, so we'll know to empty that. And of course, we want those stickers all over. See the green carts there, they've got stickers on each side.
Well, then you don't have to worry about which way it's facing when you're out there at 4:30 in the morning trying to get ready for your 5 a.m. pickup. And those are the stickers that you can pick up at the library. We have the big sheet that has
multiple stickers, so you can paste it all over.
All over the place, and there's other things on there, and we're also on that sheet, but a lot of things, useful things. So.
This one is being emptied by the automatic arm, so again, that saves on workman's comp issues that we have, and just the overall health of our drivers. So again,
and sometimes I think people don't understand how taxes work. I know they don't with the library. They don't understand that the library is tax supported, so they're not understanding here that if you have a workman's comp claim, that goes right back to our taxes. We
all pay for it in the end.
And we all end up paying for it. And so these little things that we do help save all of us money and keep the city running well. Yeah. So you had kind of some confusion last year at the end of the year, because that's how we got into the yard waste sticker business. because people needed them. There was a big, misunderstanding or something. What happened?
Well, again, yard waste season under our contract that we have with the City of Peoria runs April 1 to November 30th. Well, last year, Thanksgiving was very late in November.
Yes.
And that Thanksgiving weekend was a very nice, warm weekend. So a lot of people came out and did yard work, and it had been a little cold before that.
Yeah.
And so all this landscape waste material ended up the curb, and we had already sent our guys home for the year. We were done running those routes. We had just simply watched the calendar. So the City of Peoria approached us after getting many calls and complaints from residents who had done all that work. And our response at first had been, we'll be back in 6 months to pick it up. Well, nobody likes that response.
Exactly.
And that causes problems for the city in that material was at the curb. So when it snows, it was going to interfere with snow plowing, and thank goodness it was removed because there was so much snow at the curb. To add the landscape waste with that would have really been an issue and a problem for the city. So the city approached us about extending it for another week. And they did pay us some extra money to bring our guys back, to send our trucks back out. And so we went through that first whole week of December, or was it the second week of December? I don't recall at the moment. But we came back out again and made another pass through the entire city. So we're going to try to when we did our typical press releases and communicated with the city and the public that it was ending, but we're going to make an even a bigger push this coming November so that folks understand that it'll end actually on November 29th. Thanksgiving will push the Thursday and Friday customers back 2 days, that last week of November. So when that comes, mark your calendar if you're a Thursday or Friday customer. If you're typically picked up on Thursday, we'll be there on Black Friday to pick up your landscape waste and your trash. And then Friday customers will be there on Saturday, November 29th, and then landscape waste season will be over.
And done, hopefully.
Again, and then those guys will, the fellows that work seasonally, they go push snow, and they have other jobs that they go take on as well, because they know that it's a hard date that we're done using them.
Yeah, that's it, and it's time to go do something else, yeah. So tell me about your company. How long has it been in existence?
PDC is family owned. We have been in operation since 1928. I work for the Coulter family. Royal Coulter is the president and owner of our company, and he has 3 sons. I work for directly one of the sons. But Royal's grandfather is the man that started the business in Peoria back in the 20s. He had a pickup truck and a garbage can, and he literally went door to door to businesses and to residents and said, "Can I pick your trash up for you?" And that's what he did, and then he slowly grew over time. And then in the 70s and 80s, the company got into specialized waste and hazardous waste disposal, and got into the treatment of those kind of materials to make them inert and safe to dispose of. And so that really helped that business grow the company by servicing Keystone and Caterpillars, and those are large industrial clients that produce all kinds of waste, and many of their wastes need to be specially treated before they can actually go into the ground,
go anywhere,
or go wherever they go, however they're handled. And so our company has some patents on some of those treatments.
Wow.
And today now we have 550 employees, 3 landfills, 7 or 8 different hauling companies. We own a laboratory. We do water testing and groundwater testing. And so there are all kinds of facets of waste disposal that our owners have wrapped their arms around, so that we're kind of your one-stop shop.
Who knew?
We do a lot of community cleanups in the year in Peoria throughout the year. Under our contract, we provide the city with up to 140 roll-off boxes. Those are those big 30-yard dumpsters that you can use, and communities or neighborhood associations can work through Steve Fairbanks at the city. He's a neighborhood liaison, and he can coordinate so that you can get a free dumpster brought to your neighborhood on a Saturday or a Friday, and people can either use it for bulky items like couches or big things that you might not put at the curb during the week, or you can designate one for a landscape waste box. And so we'll bring a dumpster to your neighborhood, and you can organize your neighbors then to pick up maybe common areas, or an older person who hasn't worked on their yard in a long time, and pick that up and throw that in the landscape dumpster. and then that dumpster will be taken to LHF and disposed of. And that's a free service that the city provides residents on a first come, first served basis. And again, they need to contact Steve Fairbanks at the city to sign up for a particular weekend that they want to do that. And then the key is getting your neighbors engaged, in the process to help beautify your neighborhood.
Yeah, and it goes on a lot. I've worked with Steve Fairbanks has been on this show before too, and it works really, really well. The library works with neighborhood associations a lot too, and some of them are very, very active and use our locations for meetings, in our beautiful new meeting rooms. And so yeah, I've seen some of those things happen, and it's really inspiring to see somebody go in and help the older people and really get the neighborhood cleaned up. And nice that you're there as the solution to end all that.
And those events create, I think, a sense of community in those neighborhoods where sometimes people don't get out and they just don't take the time to go meet their neighbor. Well, now when they find them working side by side, and whether it's working in a boulevard or a common area, raking up grass or trimming a neighbor's tree or something like that.
Yeah.
And I keep saying trimming tree. We are not a tree service. If you are going to cut a tree down, we ask that you call an actual tree service or haul it away yourself. We'll take branches that are broken up, bundled, and weigh less than 50 pounds.
But you're not going to take an entire tree.
No, we're not going to take big logs. We had pictures of our trucks up earlier. They are not capable of handling 6-inch logs and hauling them out. We want brush and branches and grass clippings, leaves, things along those lines. Yes, that's the spirit of what we're trying to pick up.
We've only got a few seconds left here, so what's your main message you want people to use those stickers?
When it comes to the landscape waste, please go get a sticker or do a great job marking your can. And if you for some reason you are missed, remember we wanted you to have it out by 6 a.m. And when you call our customer service people, be nice to them. I would ask that because these ladies, they deal with the folks that are angry, that have been skipped or there's been some confusion about picking their trash or their recycling, and they really take a lot of heat. And picture yourself in their shoes. I mean, that's what I would ask somebody to be kind to them. They're the messenger. They're going to do what they can to get you taken care of. But 9 out of 10 times, we're probably just going to have to come back the next week.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week on Information Please.